Well, for today's video, we're going to build this bed. And at this end, it's got the dog's bed, which you see right now. And at this end, it's going to have a storage compartment that slides out. Well, I'm Cheap Charlie, and I'm going to show you how to build this bed for about $200. Stay tuned. Enjoy the video. Cheers. So today we're going to build something. Yes, we're going to build something. Instead of picking on an old rusted derelict car, we're going to build something for very cheap. As I'm Cheap Charlie, and we got to do it the thrifty way so we can make the buck stretch. So yep, we got the base of the bed squared up. We're going to build like a traditional house wall. We got some nice lumber. So that's our start for this bed. And I'm estimating we're going to need about 15 of these. So we'll see how that pans out. So now we'll just flip it up like so. We'll get our square, get that nice and square. Zip zip, pop some screws in, and we're on our way. There we go. On our way to success. So, just laid out the drawers. And we're going to have a 2x4 there in between the two drawers. This will be a storage unit. This we're going to use it for the pull out as a dog bed, and it's going to have an extra feature. So there you go. So now, as I'm planning on the fly, I'm going to shove that over to there at the edge of the drawer roughly. And then you have your header go across the top, and that's how we're going to do it. And then right here, this one's going to be doubled up at the corner. We got about a 5-foot span here roughly, or a little over 5 foot. Sorry, it's 80 inches to be exact. So anyways, that's not bad. But I just want to double up to make sure it's going to take the weight. And then just going along this way, it's going to be single studs coming up and across the back as well. And around that side. The bed's going to have a little bit of extra room up here, about 6 inches. And that'll be a little ledge if you want to set some stuff down or later on put a headboard on. But I'm going without the headboard. I just want a little ledge to put stuff there, your cell phone and whatnot. There you go. And the dog has already found the area. Right, Moose? Well, anyways, dog's having a lazy day and I'm having a motivation day. So let's get this bed done. Or workbench, whatever you want to call it. So, decided just to put an extra stud there. Leave that one so that way there's a doubled up 2x4 at the corner for extra support. This is where the dog bed will be, and then this one's going to go here, and then down to that corner is extra support, and then in this area is going to be just an extra storage for whatever you want to store there. And then yeah, we'll carry on with this project. So that's where the small drawer is going to be for storage. This one here is going to be where the dog's bed pulls out, or you can use it for storage, whatever your preference is. Have at her. And then this wall will meet this wall, and then I'll screw this together. I'm using some deck screws, good old 3 inches. You can use whatever your preference is. You can nail it together. But anyways, I just like using screws, so then that way later if you want to change it or add it or dismantle it, and then you can reuse stuff a lot easier. Anyways, so there you go. We'll screw that together, and there's our good start. And the dog is still comfortable, just chilling. Well, let's carry on and get this project done. So now we got it squared up. So I pegged it, pinned it with 3 deck screws there that are 3-inch. It's not break time. Come on, Moose, let's go. There you go. Anyways, let's go. We got to get some more sticks, and then we'll carry on. So this piece here was 52 3/4. So I just spaced it out about 17 inches, and then another 17 inches to that one, and then that got to that one there. So that'll be enough support for that little wall underneath the bed. So I'll do the same one for this end piece for the frame of the bed, and then we just got this one to build. So let's hurry up so we can have that beer or a cold beverage of your choice. Don't matter to me, but let's keep moving. So we got the bed frame squared up. So now let's peg it. I'm going to put about 3 screws there that are 3-inch, and that'll peg it together nicely. To keep it pinned together, I got 3 screws on this side and 2 screws on that side, so that'll do nicely. Did the same to that corner. Things are going quite nicely. Just got to get this wall here done for the bed frame, and then it's done. Kinda. So for the last part of the bed frame that's going to go there, what I'm doing is just going with a single one there, as this one backs up to this part, and then you'll have that support there, so that'll work. And then I'm spacing them out approximately about every 15 inches, and then along there like so. So that's what I'm doing. So about every 15 inches, it's going to spread it out, and then from the initial count I had to cut 5 more of these. So that's not bad. It was just a rough guess. And I'm cutting them at 9.5. I'm not sure if I mentioned before, but what I want to do for my finished goal of the bed frame, I want about 15 inches. That's my goal. And we'll see how that works out. So we'll get this corner squared up. Then that way we can pin it. So got the square on it. So now it's ready to pin. So I'll run about 3 screws through there into that 2x4. I think it's going to be really solid. If one person wanted to, you can put another piece on the corner there. But how this is butted up together, it's going to be good and strong. Anyways, let's carry on with the project and get her done. So now we got a good start to the bed frame. It's kind of like a wall, kinda. How you frame a house. I'm no professional carpenter, but this is just an idea. And so far it's working for me. You might want to modify it to your needs, but it's going to work for me. So let's carry on, and so we can get that cold drink of our choice. So now we're going to cut a 2x4 for the top of the frame that's along the side that has the for the side that has the drawers that are going to be there. We got one at 77 and one at 80, and that'll finish the top of the frame of the bed on the one side. And there's the 80-inch piece. So what I've done is put in some 2x4s at the top in the corner. Later I may put some extra 2x4s there, but I'm not too worried, as I'm gonna have 2x4s on the top and then running across, and then I'll put a little bit of webbing in, so it'll be more than solid, as it's solid now. So yeah, there, got the pieces on. And then there, we'll put a little piece in there. And then that's going to be open, except for the 2x4 that's going to go on top. You'll see. So we got the base of the bed reasonable now. So we'll carry on with getting the top piece on. And then the top piece will hold the piece of plywood. And then your bed. So yeah, it's working out well. And then we're going to have the recap. We're going to have 2 drawers. We're going to have one here for extra storage. And then one here for a dog's bed. It's going to be, I think it's like 50 some inches wide. And it's going to be 4 feet deep. And then it's going to have an extra feature. I'll let you know when it's done. And I'll show you. And then for the bed, you can do different things if you want. If you want to put a couple leg bolts into the bed so it's not moving around, you can do that. I'm thinking about doing something like that for my extra feature. So then that way the bed's good and solid. It's not going anywhere. Plus 2, you can put a couple screws from there to your wall if you like. Just ideas that you don't have to do, but it's just ideas. I will be doing some kind of keeping the bed mounted so it's not moving around. But I'm doing that for extra feature. I'll let you know when it's done. So that extra 2x4 that I put in across there is going to help mount this top 2x4 with a little extra support. So it'll give it some extra support in this corner and give you something to mount this top 2x4 on. And then like so. Then for here, no big deal, just run some screws through onto those studs lower of this piece. So I just got a screw there on an angle and a screw there on an angle. So I'll get those finished. So I've kind of done a mix of getting screws in different places. So that's going to be good and strong. And then running across will be your frame for the bed, for the upper part of the frame. And then I'll put my plywood on that. If I wanted to, you could shave down these 2x4s a little bit to get the plywood to sit flush, or different things you want to do depending on your particular ideas. There's no wrong ideas, it's how you want it to work. Or if you wanted to, you could run a 2x6 here, and then that way you got a little bit of a lip to set your mattress in. You can do different things. I'm just going to have a flat top, nice and simple and easy. Something that you can build on a Saturday without too much troubles. So got a little block in that corner. So now this will be the upper part of the frame for the bed. So that'll be there. And then this 2x4 here is going to slip in behind just to give it double support, as it's quite a bit of open spaces with a lot of with a bit of weight on it. So got a little block in that corner. And then now we're just going to mount this top 2x4 for the upper bed frame. And then afterwards put another 2x4 that'll go pretty much the whole width all the way across, as there's quite a bit of open space on the bed on the side. So yeah, it's working out quite well. So got this top plate put on the bed for the upper bed frame, I guess you can call it. So as I was mentioning earlier, it's quite a stretch along here that's quite open. So just to strengthen it up, right now it's good and strong, but just for extra insurance, gonna put that extra 2x4 across there. So it's like a top plate of a house, I guess you can call it. But in this case, it's gonna be the top plate for the bed. So that's what you got to get done. So I'm just putting that in there for extra support. it was good and strong. I was standing on it and jumping on it, and the bed's good and strong, not creaking, so that's kind of nice. So yeah, now I'll put some screws in this piece, kind of like I've been doing, but also put some through on an angle from this side and some through on an angle from that side, and hold that top plate nice and strong to keep this project nice and solid. Alright, let's carry on. So now we got the lower bed frame, the upper bed frame. So we got our double header across the top of the upper bed frame, and there you go. It's nice and solid. And you know, once I get the runners in for the drawers, and then I'll put some pieces going across for the upper bed frame, which will hold the plywood for the bed. I'm gonna see how strong it is. If I like it, I might put a little extra gussets or whatever you want to call them, put some corner bracing. You know, like I said before, you can put some pieces across there, pieces across there, pieces across there, make it stronger, and there. But right now it's rock solid. So at this point I'm not going to worry about it, but at the same point, if you want to add it later, you could. It'd just be a matter of taking the plywood off, so half an hour. But if you're going to do it right, you might as well do it right the first time. I mean, I only weigh about 170 pounds, so I'm not that heavy. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure it's rock solid and make a nice workbench and bed. So there you go. So that's the basis of a good foundation to the custom bed. And then we'll have the large drawer there. That'll be the dog's bed. And then at that end will just be a little extra storage. And then I have an extra bonus feature. Once we get it all together, I'll show you. So there you go. Nice and simple. Kind of built it in a Saturday afternoon. It's getting later on in the day, but that's okay. I'm in no rush. But we're going to get this job done so we can get through this maze and get ourselves a one cold drink. Maybe two. To reward ourselves for all the hard work. Well, let's carry on. Our helper quit. Well, sitting underneath of Mean and Green is the old bed frame. That's going to become the basis of the sliders. Yeah, you can go buy some nice fancy ones at a hardware store, wherever you want to get them from, or you can just make yourself a set. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of weight on it, and if you want to upgrade as the years went on, if you want to upgrade and put on the nice sliders, you can, but I'm more than confident that that's going to do the job for my sliders. So we're reusing the old bed frame, and then that way that doesn't go to waste, I guess. Waste not, want not. So there you go. This is the old bed frame. You just got to grind that rivet off, or you can drill it out, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to cut that at 58 inches. And then that little piece there can be used for scrap or used for something else at another day. Probably just go in the scrap pile, and then if you need it, it's there. If it goes for scrap, oh well, no big deal. As you always find more hoard. But anyways, 58 inches, that's what I need. And then I'll drill a couple holes in the end so I can drill it and mount it to the frame. And that'll be the basis of my sliders. Like I said before, you can go buy some fancy kinds if you like, or you can just make yourself a basic slider. You'll do the job, whatever you like. Or you can get fancy and make an electric gizmo to shove the dog bed out and to bring it back. But I'm just going with a nice and basic one as that's all I need. Don't forget those, so that way you don't have to worry about wrecking your eyeballs. So step one, we grinded those off. I mean, if you had, you could use a cold chisel. You can even use a Sawzall, just gotta get a little creative, but you can make it work. Or different ideas, like I said, you can drill it out. It's just an oversized rivet. So now we just gotta cut a 58-inch chunk out of this. So it'll get us to about here, and then that'll just go in the scrap pile, and if I need it, it's there for another day. There we go. A little crooked, but got the job done. So, those old bed frames, I just screwed it to the new bed frame, and that'll become part of the railing sliding system for the dog bed. Well, there's the bases of that large sliding compartment that's going to be used for the dog's bed, and then we'll get working on this one here. It's going to be a storage area. Well, there's the inspector. We'll carry on. Well, just testing out the Kong bed, and it passed. The dog likes it. Fits perfect. So that's a rough idea of the finished product. And anyways, we'll carry on. Shake a paw, Moose. Well, shake a paw. Yeah, shake a paw. Good girl. So before I put the plywood top on, I'm going to run some screws into the wall. I don't want the bed to move. So, and then from here over will be one piece of plywood, and then along here there's just going to be a little strip of plywood. That'll also act as a service panel, I guess you can call it. If I want to move the bed, I'll just pop a couple screws out. I got a couple there, and I got a couple there, so then that way I can move the bed. So yes, got deadbolts, yes, a regular door lock, but an extra, yeah, the forces, not way down there where somebody's going to be kicking, but it's just an added really cheap bonus of having the bed here. That's why I screwed it to the wall so it can't move. But we still got to get the cabinet doors on, but it's not the finished product yet. But what I'm getting at is this door's out. It'll help hold the door. I know you can get other gizmos on your door, but this is just a really very inexpensive added bonus to help keep that door closed. Well, it's coming along quite nicely. I put some support coming from the top down to the bottom, and then there's a piece over here underneath the storage area, and then anyways, but with over here being such a big dog bed that's going to slide back in, there's really not much room. It's only going to be about a foot away from there, so you know, there's more than enough support. You can walk on it, jump on it. You can drive a small car on it, and I think it's just fine. So it's going to make a nice bed and storage area and dog bed underneath. Well, it works for two big dogs. Well, got some wood stain. That color seemed close to the cabinet doors that I'll be using for the dog's bed and the extra storage underneath the bed. So let's get it stained up and see how it looks. Well, it's going on fairly decent. Not bad for the first coat. but we'll get the first coat on and get it completed and see how it looks. Well, stain's dry. Now it's time to put those cabinet doors on and do the finishing touches. So, got these cabinet doors from Habitat of Humanity for the low price of $2. They were on sale. So I'm going to use some 2 1/4 screws to screw on these cabinet doors to the front of the bed, so that way you can pull it out. I may at a later point put some handles. I also bought from the Habitat for Humanity. They were like 50 cents, dirt cheap. So for spacers, I just put underneath the door cabinets a screw. That's what I want to use for a spacer, and that's worked out well. So it works well. So for this project, it cost about $200. 3 pieces of plywood, 18 pieces of 2x4. I bought a big thing of screws, and I had a few screws, like smaller screws, and a couple little odds and ends, but for the most part I had to buy everything. Left over, I got like 3/4 of a piece of plywood left. I have 2 pieces of 2x4 about 4 feet long. There's a couple tidbits of 2x4 left, and just a handful of screws. So overall it's a pretty easy project. It's time consuming, but out of 300 screws, that's how many I got left. You know, maybe you can get away with putting 50 screws in the whole project, but at the end of the day, at least you know it's not going to go anywhere. Be nice and secure, strong, and last for a long time. Cheers.